Welcome, Dan. You sent me an email, and you had a rather remarkable recovery with asthma, correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
Looking back, it is correct. It started slow, and I didn't realize until about a week, 2 weeks into it. Yes.
Okay. So, but you did something regarding optimal EFT, the unseen therapist. You did some meditation things with our unseen therapist, although you didn't necessarily call it by that name. Okay.
That is correct.
And I went over what you did, but let's talk first about the severity of the asthma. Before you did any of this, you were taking, doing some puffers and other stuff. How severe was it?
So on a daily basis, I would take anywhere from 6 to 8 puffs of Ventolin, sometimes even 10. And during the night, I would wake up at least 1 puff, up to 4 puffs. So I would say 2 to 4 puffs was an average. And the severity was like the chest and the abdomen were always in constant, like a grip, like a tight chest and abdomen. And at times, because of the stress of the day and whatnot, or physical activity, it would flare up to the point where I would start wheezing, and it was really hard to breathe. Severe instances, I would probably get lightheaded. I would have to lie down or sit down to get over that, get a puff of Ventolin to remedy the situation temporarily.
Okay. All right. And then you did a meditative thing, we're going to call it, with the unseen therapist, the spiritual presence. And gradually, we'll get the details in a moment here, but gradually, all of that has faded. And I think you told me it's been like a month now, and you've had no need for puffs, no thing in the chest, and some other benefits, correct?
That is correct, yes.
Okay. All right. Let's talk a little bit. If you'd tell us a little bit about what you did. I know you had you went into some meditative things, and in my terms, these things involve forgiveness, and this sort of thing. So if you would talk about that a little bit to give us some more details.
So I read your UT4 PDF about 2 years ago. I started, and then the details of how to do it faded away. So I read it again, and at the beginning of this year, I had the last read of it. So it was like the 4th time I opened the PDF and read through it, and I decided to go into some.
Interject. This is my book, The Unseen Therapist. You're speaking of.
Yes, that is correct. UT4, that's what you call it, UT4.pdf. And so in the month of February, I had a few attempts to go deep down into a meditative state and ask the questions that I had on my mind. Why do I have this problem? Show me so that I can correct it. In my own terms, I formulated kind of like a dialogue with a friend, dialogue with somebody close. And I only did that when I got to a state where I was calm and peaceful and no mind chatter, basically. So I did that, just to summarize it, I did that for about 4 or 5 times. And then one last time, it was very intense. I was in that state for about an hour. And that was basically the end of the series of meditative states dedicated to why do I have this problem? What have I not forgiven about myself? What's bothering me on the inside? What is on the unconscious mind that it's still unresolved? Basically, this is the kind of questioning.
Sure.
And if you want me to tell you what kind of experience I had as a result of asking these questions.
Well, yeah, but I want to explore a little bit underneath that if I can first.
Sure. I'll let you lead it.
You said something early in this about, and I forgot the exact words, but it was a way like you were asking the unseen therapist, what's going on here?
Yes.
point me to something. That weren't your words, but it was something like that. Okay. And that is one of the things that we talk about, for those who have more advanced work with the unseen therapist, is we will use her to actually ask, what's the issue? Instead of us trying to figure it out, we say, what is the issue? Okay. And she will give us guidelines. Sometimes she gives us guidelines. Well, you want to go to this specific event. She'll give us some kind of an image like that, some kind of an urging and nudge and this kind of stuff. And so that's what you did. And interestingly enough, she didn't necessarily point you to a specific event or a specific emotional issue, even though you got there eventually. Okay. She pointed you to B vitamins.
Yes. I tell you in a little bit more detail how it happened. So in these states, after I asked the questions, I would get flashbacks of events or images of people that I knew that I wasn't very friendly with or very specific. However, one characteristic is that when I came out of that state, all those memories kind of faded away. I kind of forgot about the specific of what happened. I just remembered that I've seen people and I've seen events that I had to deal with. And my way of dealing with was to reframe the meaning of those events or let's say the friendliness of the people that I encounter. So that's the only thing that I did. And then,
let me I'm sorry, let me interject you because that's a beautiful statement from an optimal EFT unseen therapist point of view. Because you just said you got pointed to various specific events. You just talked about various emotionally charged things that you needed to reduce. You just talked about things going on with other people where forgiveness is needed, etc. And these are all the features, if you will, of the unseen therapist. And you were doing this with only sort of a refresher from my beginning book.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Go ahead, please.
So one thing to note is that I didn't have any, major event, something that I was like trembling with fear or anger, but little events and, tiny, I would say, gestures of unforgiveness towards people. So it was more like the death of 1,000 cuts. It wasn't like a big cut.
Yes.
Understand what I'm trying to say?
Sure.
Very small pieces that slowly, gradually were put in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
So after the last session I had, this deep meditation that lasted about an hour, I didn't go back into deep meditation, and actually it's been 3 months since I didn't. But the week following the last meditation, I was getting this nudge to go get some choline, which is a B vitamin. And I did that because it was gentle. It wasn't like an obsessive thought about going to get B vitamins. It was just nudge, go get choline. When I went finally, after about a week, I went to the store on my way home, and I picked up a bottle of choline. And this is by B4, vitamin B4, by the way. And right beside it, it was a complex B, which has all the vitamins, about more than a dozen, right? And I picked that up too, and went home and started to take more than the recommended dosage on the bottle. I took, instead of 1 pill a day, I took 3 in the morning, 3 in the afternoon, and 3 at night. And I'm overdoer by, that's my thing. I overdo everything that I put my mind to. And to my surprise, I didn't actually monitor this, but about a week down the road, I noticed to my surprise that I never touched my puffer on the night table. And that was like a very pleasant surprise. And then a week after that, I noticed that my urge throughout the day was smaller, so I wouldn't need the puffer as much. It was almost like 50% of it gone.
Okay.
And then about a month into it, I needed even less than 50%. So it was a progression for me. And that gave me courage, because I also noticed other physical symptoms that I was telling you on the phone, like vertigo. I couldn't look up past this point without actually losing balance and getting dizzy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's basically virtually gone. I only have like the memory of it. When I look up, I go, oh, thank you. It's no longer there, right? So do you want me to list other things that I, actually, if you have the email I sent you in front of you, you can actually read it out loud.
I don't have it in front of me, so go ahead. No, you had a lump going on, and there were some other things.
Yeah, so I had like in my chest and abdomen, I had like, I would call it like a ball, like really tight chest and really tight abdomen all the time, to the point where it was actually taking over the day, so to speak. It was hard for me to do anything because it was this constant pain, right? And a puff of Ventolin would actually diminish that for a little bit, but it would come right back up, right? So that went down dramatically. Then I had some skin issues on my feet, and I noticed only that they're gone. Now, I can't say for sure that they're related, but it happened after I started taking the B vitamins.
Okay.
Muscle weaknesses. I had muscle weakness and pain, like muscle pain in the muscles for no particular reason. I wouldn't exercise and it would be painful. That is gone. I had joint pains like knee and hip joint pain. It's gone.
A skeptic to the unseen therapist, the spiritual dimension, etc., as a form of healing here, would stand back and say, well, okay, but you chose to go get those B vitamins, and the B vitamins did all of that stuff. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I am unaware anywhere in medical terms of taking a few over-the-counter B vitamins that take care of asthma, a lump in the chest, the skin thing on your feet, and all the other stuff you were talking about, because you took a few B vitamins. Now, maybe I'm wrong about that, but I have a hard time thinking a few B vitamins is going to do that. How am I doing?
I understand. I understand what you're saying. Yes. So the unseen therapist, right? How does unseen therapist play into this? I would say healing miracle, right? The fact that we go through the day and we gather so much stress. In my particular case, that stress, that emotional, what do you call it? Emotional disturbance, right?
Sure.
It starts interfering with the normal functioning of the body. The body shouldn't have any props requirements, right? It should, if we had an emotional life, a balanced emotional life, we shouldn't need this, right? But since I've chosen a life where stress is probably my number one partner, right? It does affect the body.
Sure. Well, all of us undergo stress. If it isn't stress from the workplace and maybe even the family situation, etc., it is just stress from being on the planet.
Exactly. Yes.
And it's the emotional stuff that we've collected over time, the griefs, the angers, the guilts, the unforgivenesses that you have done. Now, it's my experience that when we go in and start cleaning house on the emotional stuff we've collected, the unforgivenesses, to use that term, now we have relieved the body and the immune system from having to deal with all of that. Or they has to deal with less of it. I'll put it that way. We still have more left typically, okay? But there's less of it. It now allows the body to start, its immune system to start healing and start doing some of the things that happened with you. That would be my explanation. Does it fit?
Yeah, it is. I still try to wrap my mind around, how fast it happened. And I can say that throughout the day, I realize, hey, I have no more symptoms of asthma. But it's so easy to forget. And to forget that, like 3 months ago, I had this lump in my chest all the time. And it's very, very easy to forget that, to take for granted the stuff that's what I'm trying to acknowledge every day. Hey, I received it. Thank you.